Gregory Shelton of Historic Living, Modern World. Today, we're really close to the summer holiday of the 4th of July. We're already in summer, it's very warm, it's a beautiful time, and that party is right around the corner. When we talk about parties here in our area, it's normally a cookout with family and friends, but there's always some kind of gaming going on. Competition really gets the juices flowing, and we have a drinks and some beers around some competition that can really make a party great. And I have to be honest, I was at a winery not too long ago, and they had a cornhole game going. I haven't really played that much, but my son and wife loved it, so we started playing it, kind of fell in love with it. I thought to myself, could I buy a cornhole set? Of course. Should I make one? Absolutely. Should I make it out of normal plywood and really glossy stuff? Of course not. So let's just make this out of barn wood. So when I thought about the idea of could I make this with barn wood, it's standard wood. It's oak wood normally, and what we have on our barns is oak. I have an abundance of it, so why not just design it, draw it out, spec it out, and see where we land, which is exactly what I've done. So we have an 18th century property and farm and home. There's a lot of outbuildings. Almost all of them have oak paneling on the outside of the barn. So we have an abundance of barn wood. Now I want to show you exactly what it's like to work with a piece of barn wood. It is not easy. So although I love the look of what we're doing, it's not very simple and easy to work with. But okay, so I took a piece of barn wood here. I just want to show you what it's like to work with a piece of barn wood. Now, to be honest, you could mill a piece of oak and do the same thing, and you're going to have right angles. It's going to be perfectly straight, and it might be great. The look of it might feel like barn wood. But to me, when you're doing projects with real barn wood, you're going to have interesting movement in the wood. You're going to have quarter sawn wood, which I think adds to the look. You're also going to have old paint on it. This barn was, of course, a dairy farm, which is why it has white paint. But the original farm had red. You can see a red stain on all the wood. So this is probably from the 1890s as far as the piece of wood itself. So again, very hard wood. You have some water damage. So the thing you want to keep in mind is you want to have some type of way to remove old nails. Nothing screws up your tools like old nails. So as of this wood, I've already removed the nails. But if you wanted to use something like this, you're going to have to cut off here and use this sparingly. So we talk about using the barn at Poplar Hall for this project. I really want to show you another look at what we're doing. Now I look at a piece of wood we're looking at around probably 9 foot tall. And this would have been on the outside of the barn that we've taken off somewhere along the line. We've removed the nails. You have the rough side and the smooth side. So this would be on the outside of the barn. They would have painted this, of course, as you can see the white. But when I look at a piece of wood like this, we know that making your own cornhole set, you really have to stay with the dimensions to make it really a regulated confirmation of the real size of this project. Now, a lot of people tend to do their own thing or make a project where they don't really look at the formidable size of things. The cornhole set that we're making today, I'm proud to say, is really a regulation size and depth and measurement that you would play on a formal cornhole set. So I want to make sure that you understand that. When I look at this large piece of barn wood, it's a lot harder to work with, but the payoff is so much greater because anyone can go buy something at a local store. It's probably made out of plastic, probably made out of plywood. It's probably a piece of junk, to be honest. It's always cool to make your own things, and I think if you can watch the specs that I give you, it's worth the effort to make your own set of cornhole. So when talking about a standard set of what you need to prepare, you're going to need a deck, which is what you're going to be making today, and then you're going to have the bean bags or the bags that you throw for the actual cornhole game itself. Today we're going to be making the deck, and you can buy the bean bags separately. The one thing I want to talk about, whenever you're trying to do something with a little bit of personalization, you always want to make a drawing of it so you know your specs, you know your measurements, but you can always pre-plan if you want to personalize it. Maybe put your name on it, you want to stain it, you want to paint it. Those little details are so important because you want to be proud of what you've done. If it's a piece of junk, you're not going to want to paint it. So this is going to really be a kind of a prized possession for you. So when you look at what a cornhole set is like, there's really three measurements that you absolutely have to do to stay in the regulatory area. One is the width. So it's going to be 24 inches wide, or 2 feet, and the length of it's going to be 48 inches, or 4 feet. Now the other part of this, because you know it goes up on an arc, there's a 12 inches height that's really important, because when you throw the bags, you want to throw them in the middle so they slide up, and that is a big angle that you have to stick with when you make this set. So I have to say, my father-in-law, Jim, is an amazing woodworker. He's amazing at his thought processes, and he and I worked on a prototype for this that was rock solid. So without his help, I probably wouldn't have gotten this done. So kudos to him for his help. Okay, so the first thing we want to show you is we've done some pre-cuts for the wood. Now the reason we've done that is because barn wood is incredibly difficult to work with. I wish it wasn't that case, but it truly is, because as some of you know, this is not level. It's hard wood. It does a number on your saws. It's just really difficult to work with, but you cannot reproduce the look of it, which is just stunning. It's good, absolutely good. Okay, so we're gonna install the end cap. The one thing I want to make sure people understand when we talk about the weight of barn wood. Now, a normal cornhole set is made out of plywood, which is incredibly light. When you're making something out of barn wood, the board is heavy, so you need a little more attention to the legs. So what we decided to do was use these as the feet, and then we have a brace that comes on. So this is going to be the way the legs are done, and that's to hold the base of it, but to provide a really strong base so that there's no movement, and when you put it down, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so now we're going to finish up putting the legs on. So make sure that the legs are flush. We've already pre-drilled the screws. Okay, let's measure the distance perfectly. 4 feet, 2 feet, 12 inches. This is exactly the regulatory cornhole set that I was hoping to make. So our cornhole deck is done. It's foundationally sound, it's heavy, it's perfect, exactly like I hoped it would be. Now's the most important part of what you need to do, is to make sure you're concentrating, because what we need to do is cut the hole for a cornhole game, okay? So the measurements are very simple. You're gonna go 12 inches from the side and 9 inches from the top. And that middle point is where we're gonna start to cut our circle. So, 12 here. Okay, and then 9. Okay. And then we're going to be drawing our circle. Cornhole boards are done, and I absolutely love them. They're made out of 150-year-old barn wood. I designed them, and it's so great to make something yourself and something that you play. If you like what you've seen today, make sure you click like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Gregory Shelton with Historic Living Modern World, reminding you, whenever you do something, always make sure you work to move people. Now let's play some cornhole. Cheers.